Hello there guys, Alex here, bringing you part 3 of What If Deku Had Cataclysm. So, before we continue, I just wanted to say that, again, we're pretty amazed at how things turned out this way. And also, I have to say first, if we can get 3,000 views, 500 likes, we'll try to continue this one immediately. Again, 24 hours. In the next 24 hours. So, in this case, if you can reach that goal, we'll try to upload part 4 as quickly as we can. And also, I did want to mention, what's it called? Let's see. I see that a certain percentage of you have not subscribed. So please do consider it so, you can get more quality content. And with me is here my writer, my friend, Erdgan. So say any words you want to say to the audience, Ed.
Hey guys, how's it going? I'm just surprised that you actually like this. Alex didn't like it because it was too coy for his taste.
Oh my god. You always have to put it up to 11, and even the comment section. Why? Why, man? Why do you have to torture me like this?
Because it's honey.
Oh. Anyways, yeah, the amount of shit I have to do with this motherfucker. Anyways, I really do hope you enjoy this part, and without a further ado, let's begin. Where we last left off, All Might revealed himself to be the teacher of the heroine class, and telling them to get into their hero costumes. Once the students were in their hero costumes, All Might greeted them. All Might saying, "Well, they say the clothes make the pros, and you are proof of it." Oh, hold on a second. Aren't we missing? As All Might starts counting the students, saying, "Izuku, have any of you seen Izuku?" Izuku arriving late, saying, "I'm here. Sorry, they forgot to put the hole for my tail, so I had to improvise." All Might saying, "Well, in any case, the exercise is simple," explaining the hero versus villains mock battle, and saying, "So you'll be divided into groups. Everyone grab a number." As Izuku joined the students, a meow was heard. All Might, rolling his eyes, would say, "Young Midoriya, we already discussed about bringing Fluffles with you." Izuku saying, "Yeah, I know, but he was feeling lonely." All Might saying, "Fine, when it's your turn, you'll leave him with me, and you'll have him back afterwards." Izuku saying, "Okay." The students drew their lots, and the matchups were made. Hero versus villains. Team A, Mineta Nuraraka, versus Team D, Bakugo Onita. Team I, Ojiro and Kendo, versus Team G, Kaminari and Jiro. Team H, Shoji and Tsuyu, versus Team J, Kirishima and Shiro. Team C, Momo and Izuku, versus Team B, Todoroki and Tokoyami. Team E, Aoyama and Mina, versus Team F, Sato and Koda. Once Izuku realized that he was with Momo, his eyes sparkled in excitement, but Momo, she felt like it was the end of the world. The first match, with Bakugo being mellowed out a bit, he managed to work alongside Ida, and with Mineta being matched up with Ochako, it's just a problem waiting to happen. Therefore, the villain team wins. The second matchup, Kendo and Ojiro, are a good matchup for hand-to-hand combat. Seems goes for Jiro and Kaminari, although Jiro and Kaminari had a slight advantage. Kaminari succumbs to his brain-fried state, making the match a 2-on-1. Jiro had no way out. She either fought and lost, or surrendered and lost. She did the latter. Thus, the hero team wins. The third match, to make this short, hero team wins. And the fourth match, Izuku and Momo versus Todoroki and Tokoyami, the villains went and got their base set up, while Izuku and Momo were discussing on what to do. Momo saying, "Could you stop staring at me like that? You are creeping me out." Izuku, embarrassed, would say, "Sorry, can't help it." Momo saying, "I'm giving you one chance to make it right. Make puns, jokes, or anything that costs the match, or else." Izuku gulped, and the two talked about a plan that Momo came up with, and Izuku agreed. Thus, the mock battle begun. Momo, being calculative, would say, so, if we were to go from the front door, muttering, then, again, we could go for spotting a window that was open. Izuku, acting chivalrous, would say, if you wouldn't mind, allow me to open a path for us, milady. Momo would say, really? Izuku, using his cataclysm on the door, would say, and there, this is our interest, milady. And as a gentle cat, I must say, after you. Momo, visibly confused, would say, okay, I guess. Everybody watching were confused, for they thought Izuku had a cat quirk. As Izuku and Momo went to find the bomb, the building was encased with ice, but Izuku made quick work of it with his cataclysm, and after a long battle, several puns later, Izuku was trying to irritate his opponents, as Cat Noir or Spider-Man would do during battle, as Izuku was keeping Todoroki and Tokoyami, plus Dark Shadow, at bay. Momo went for the bomb, which was protected by several layers of ice, but before Momo could claim the bomb, time ran out. Thus, the villain team wins. In the observatory room, the rest of the class was curious about Izuku's second quirk. Then Fluffles jumped on Izuku and into his shirt. And finally, All Might congratulated the villain team. All Might saying, young Todoroki and young Tokoyami, you have managed to find, considering you were almost about to lose your patience. But you've kept your patience and successfully stalled your opponents for time and winning the battle. Todoroki and Tokoyami sighed and appreciated All Might's words. But Todoroki glared at Izuku for some reason. All Might then congratulated the hero team, as All Might would say, Miss Yayorozu and young Midoriya, you have done well considering that you had your opponents on the ropes. Next time, do consider the fact that there is a time limit. But before we go into detail, young Midoriya, as All Might patting him on the head would say, as a teacher, there are no words expressing on how much you have made me proud. Considering the past few years, we tried everything we could, and now you're growing to be a fine young hero. Izuku, embarrassed and rubbing the back of his head, would say, yeah, if you say so. All Might saying, and Miss Momo, interrupting All Might, would say, a fine young hero? All Might, sir, you must be joking right now. He's been acting like a clown, and to be honest, I think you would have made more of a success in a circus or in a TV show. Because if this wasn't an exercise, lives would have been in danger, and most likely, lives would have been lost, all because he decided to act like a clown. Izuku, feeling stabs in his heart, and his ears drooping, would say, but I... Momo saying, and another thing, all your jokes and puns aren't funny, and not to mention your poor excuse of confessing with jokes. Those are the worst. All Might saying, Miss Yayorozu, that's enough. Momo saying, enough? All Might, I think this is also his parents' fault for raising this catboy in heat. And not to mention, you and others are stroking his ego and laughing at his jokes. Everyone was stunned of the words Momo spoke, especially Izuku. But without a word, he ran out of there, and Katsuki glaring at Momo, but he asked All Might if he could go after him, which All Might agreed. Jiro, being sarcastic, would say, whoa, it looks like the rich girl finally snapped. You definitely have your way with guys, and you have a bunch of friends. Momo saying, what is that supposed to mean? And for your information, I didn't come here to socialize. I came here to become a hero, and that's it. Am I the only person that takes things seriously? All Might, frowning, would say, Miss Yayorozu, what you have said to young Midoriya, that wasn't nice. And you went over the line, and there's nothing heroic about that. If you were serious, you should have chosen your words carefully. Shoto, being cold, would say, you're right. His jokes suck, but I must agree with All Might. If you don't remember what happened in our battle, you were the one at fault for losing, because you didn't reach the bomb in time, while he, on the other hand, kept me and him, pointing at Tokoyami, and his shadow on our toes. But you made one big mistake. Momo saying, what is that? Shoto saying, you dragged in his family. I, for one, despise those that do that. Because none of us know for sure who or what his family is, or what they did to him. Zero, surprised, would say, "Whoa, the coldest one here. Seems to understand the catboy's needs." Kirishima saying, "I know, right? It just proves even the one that doesn't care actually does care. I think we misjudged you, Todoroki." Todoroki, cursing himself for speaking up, would say, "Don't get the wrong idea. I saw sheer stupidity, and I had no choice but to act." Momo's inner monologue would say, "Darn it, I think I said too much. No, what am I thinking? He clearly had it coming, but I guess I did blame him for my mistake. He had his hands full fighting Todoroki and Tokoyami. Maybe I should apologize. Yeah, I'll apologize later." Jiro would say, "All Might, sir, can I go and check on Izuku?" All Might would say, "I appreciate your concern to a fellow classmate, but I think one is enough. Now, let's get back to the lesson." Meanwhile, Izuku ran and entered his piano room, and he took off his hero costume, leaving them on the floor. He's only wearing his boxers and a t-shirt, and he started to mope around under a blanket with Fluffles meowing at him. But he didn't answer, for he was second-guessing his existence, and this continued until a knock on the door made him lose his train of thoughts. Izuku, choking his sobs away, would say, "Go away." Katsuki saying, "It's me, you idiot. I'm coming in." Katsuki entered the room, only to find him moping in the back of the room, noticing his hero costume on the floor. Katsuki saying, "I hope you didn't go commando under those blankets." Izuku and Katsuki spoke, talking about what happened. Katsuki trying to console him. Izuku actually brings up the fact that Momo was right, because Izuku accidentally killed his mother, but Katsuki snapped him back to reality. Katsuki saying, "Don't listen to that bitch. She talks big, but she's got nothing. She's basically useless in a 1v1 battle. I don't even know why you are crushing on her in the first place." Izuku whining, saying, "But Kachan, it's love at first sight. You told me yourself." Katsuki saying, "That's not what I remember, because I clearly said that there's no such thing. Are you sure you aren't in heat?" Izuku saying, I'm not in heat." Katsuki saying, "Should we ask a vet?" Izuku saying, "No, anything but that." Katsuki managed to bring Izuku back to his old self again. Time passes. The events of the class rep happens the same way, but Ida's chosen as class rep, and a tie between Momo and Katsuki for vice rep. But Katsuki ends up getting the spot. Momo still trying to get Izuku alone so they could speak, but Katsuki's not allowing it, nor is Jiro for some reason, and Mina helps out Jiro. Izuku and Katsuki were going in the cafeteria to get some food, but a girl grabbed Izuku's cat ears, making him drop his tray. As the girl would say, "It's been a while, hasn't it?" Izuku, hiding behind Katsuki, would say, "Nedre, stop that. Look what you made me do." Nedre saying, "Aw, you're so adorable when you hide like that. It reminds me of Tamaki." Izuku and Nedre had a little back and forth chat, but Katsuki just dragged Izuku to the piano room, because Katsuki didn't want to deal with any more trouble and waste more time. Izuku and Katsuki were headed for the piano room. Jiro joined in, and Mina tagged along, much to Katsuki's annoyance. Inside the room, Mina would say, "Whoa, I'm surprised that there's a piano in a hero school." Izuku saying, "The reason of a piano being here is because of me. I've been in UA for years now." Mina shouting, "What the years? How old are you?" Jiro would say, "I don't understand." Izuku with enemy tears and holding on to Jiro, since she was the closest. "Please, Mina, don't shout at me." Jiro blushing, saying, mind letting me go?" Izuku saying, sorry." Mina rubbing the back of her head, saying, "Oh, sorry, I got a bit carried away. So, how old are you?" Izuku saying, "I turned 15 in July. I'm the same age as you guys." Mina saying, "Then it makes no sense what you said. I mean, how can you be here for years and still be a first-year student?" Izuku was having a weird look, but Katsuki knew what it was. Katsuki saying, "It's pointless to let out something that you clearly aren't ready to let out. If that's the case, then don't say it." Izuku saying, "But Kachan, I want to tell them." Izuku was interrupted by the alarm, and he was freaking out, hiding under some blankets, begging for the noise to stop. After the alarm stopped, Izuku refused to continue with what he was saying. because he saw the alarm as an omen to not reveal anything, which left the two girls on a huge cliffhanger. Fast forward a few days, Momo still didn't apologize. Aizawa told the group to either put on their hero costumes or gym uniforms, for they were going to the USJ, mentioning that All Might will be joining later. Izuku has been there before. He's been there when the big three were first-year students. During the bus ride, they've talked about their quirks, everyone explained about their quirks, and it was Izuku's turn to explain his. Suyu would say, "So, Midoriya, what does your quirk do, Ribbit?" Izuku saying, it's pretty obvious, meow, while making a cute Neko pose. Tsuyu and Izuku were chuckling, and everyone soon started to chuckle as well. Tsuyu saying, "Midoriya, you're so lucky to have a cat quirk. It makes you cute no matter what you do, Ribbit." Izuku, blushing and smirking, would say, "Haha, gee, if you keep it up, I might purr for you." Everyone looked at them with a weird look, implying if they are flirting in public. Izuku, confused, would say, why are you looking at me like that? Cat got your tongue?" Everyone facepalmed. Jiro, being somewhat jealous, would say, "By the way, Izuku, what about your other quirk?" Izuku gulped, saying, What other quirk?" Now, Mina saying, "Yeah, Izu, that quirk which turned the door into dust during the hero versus villains battle. What is it?" Everyone wanted to know, and Izuku felt cornered, just like a stray cat surrounded by dogs. After some time, Izuku had no choice but to answer. Izuku, looking down, would say, "You see, other than just having a cat quirk, I also have a destruction quirk. It's called cataclysm." Mineta sarcastically would say, "Really? Then I guess you're a catastrophe waiting to happen." Izuku saddened at Mineta's words, and everyone glared daggers at him. Katsuki saying, "What the fuck did you say?" Mineta saying, "I was trying to make a pun." Kendo saying, "Yeah, it sounds like you're jinxing us." Momo saying, "Kendo, don't tell me you're superstitious." Kendo saying, "You may never know." Izuku saying, "I for one am superstitious, considering I have a black cat's luck." Momo saying, "Not really. You just need to change your way of treating women. Not everyone likes to be compared to seasoned cheese." Izuku saying, "But that's the best kind there is." Momo rolled her eyes. Todoroki would chime in saying, "So, Midoriya, I've noticed that some teachers are overprotective of you, especially Midnight, our history teacher, and President Mike, our English teacher. Not to mention Aizawa, Sensei, and to a degree even All Might. Why is that so?" Izuku, sweating bullets, would say, whatever do you mean?" Todoroki saying, "You know what I mean. They've been doting on you since day one. What's up with that?" Katsuki, getting pissed, would say, "What is it to you, icy hot bastard?" Todoroki would say, "I wasn't talking to you, explosions for brains. And my reason is simple. I'm curious, that's all." Katsuki, smirking and making sparks in his hands, would say, "Well, you know what they say about curiosity. Curiosity killed the cat." Izuku, with anime tears, would say, "Nani?" Todoroki would say, "But you forgot. That satisfaction brought it back." Todoroki and Katsuki glared at each other. Izuku, with anime tears, would say, Now, let's not go too feisty, and for everyone's sake, keep the cat out of it." Aizawa saying, "That's enough back there. We're here." Izuku rushed to Aizawa and hiding behind him. Aizawa saying, "You damn brats. Not even able to enjoy a bus ride without causing some sort of commotion. In any case, we are here at the USJ." After entering at the USJ, Ochako is fangirling about the pro hero that welcomed them, annoying some of her classmates. The pro hero would say, "Welcome, students. I'm Hero 13, and I'm here to instruct you on rescuing. But before we get into that, first, we must understand the nature of our quirks, because quirks are just powers. But what separates heroes and villains is how they use their quirks. For example, I have a black hole quirk. My quirk is used to absorb emitter attacks and rubble, or natural disasters. But it can also be used for crime, like killing someone or destroying cities, etc. So understanding those principles is what's most important, and stick to them without faltering." While 13 was explaining, Izuku flinched, and some of the students noticed. But before they could ask Izuku on why he flinched, Izuku's ears started to twitch, and Izuku went to get a better view because his ears alerted him of something, but what? Izuku, pointing at his small, purplish vortex at the center of the plaza, would say, Mr. Aizawa, 13, what is that thing at the center of the plaza? But before the heroes could answer, people appeared from the vortex, and a young man covered in hands announced their presence. Kendo grabbing Mineta and shaking him, saying, "You jinxed us! You freaking jinxed us! How could you do such a thing?" Mineta with enemy tears said, "I didn't mean to!" Down at the plaza, the man would say, "Kirigiri, you know what to do." Kirigiri would say, "My pleasure, Master Shigaraki." Back at the entrance, Aizawa left 13 in charge as he tries to take down the villains in front of him. The small guy known as Kirigiri manifested himself in front of the heroes and students. Kirigiri would say, "We are the League of Villains, and we invited ourselves here in this haven of heroes to put an end to All Might, the symbol of peace." Before the students were able to comprehend the situation at hand or calling for backup, the smoky villain engulfed the students in his smoke and scattered them throughout the USJ. The hero 13, after the students were scattered, she still does her shtick and trying to absorb the villain, but she ends up harming herself. Everyone is scattered throughout the USJ. Everyone goes to their original location, except for Izuku. He ends up on the mountainside area with Momo, Jiro, and Kaminari. By the mountainside area, Izuku, Jiro, Kaminari, and Momo were taken aback as they tried to strategize to get back to the entrance and call for help, but Izuku realized that they weren't alone. A villain was about to punch Momo from behind, but Izuku pushed her out of the way, and taking the hit for her, as he was punched face first into the ground with extreme force, making a crater. Momo was about to scold Izuku, but she realized that he protected her from the incoming attack. Jiro screaming, "Izuku!" The villain would say, "Now that cowboy's out of the way, who's next?" Izuku, getting up in pain, would say, "Ouch, that hurt." The villain, confused, would say, "What the? You're supposed to be dead." Izuku smirking, "Didn't you know? Cats have 9 lives." The villain got angry and charged at Izuku, but instead Izuku flipped him over by using the villain's momentum against him and delivered a punch to his face, knocking the villain out. Izuku, shaking his hand in pain, would say, "Ouch, what is his face made out of?" Kaminari, Jiro, and Momo were amazed, but even more so when Izuku showed his agility and knocking out 3 more villains. With all of the villains in that area dealt with by Izuku single-handedly, Jiro saw Izuku under a new light, even Momo, but Momo had guilt building up in the pit of her stomach. Kaminari would say, "Dude, you really need to teach me some of those moves." Izuku saying, "I guess I can so that you can catch up." Momo, rolling her eyes, would say, "Okay, now we need to get to the others or get outside and call for backup." But before they can act on their plan, a villain that recovered quickly was about to use his electric quirk on Momo since she was the closest. Izuku reacted in time, pushed her away once again, but Izuku, on the other hand, he was being electrocuted. But Jiro, Momo, and Kaminari managed to knock out the villain, and Izuku fell on the floor, barely having his eyes open and his hair was sticking up. Izuku, coughing up smoke, would say, "Wow, that was shockingly painful." Momo, tearing up, would say, "That's not funny. You could have died or something." Izuku would say, "No, I wouldn't." Momo saying, "Why? Why did you take that hit for me?" Izuku would say, "Why wouldn't I?" Momo, frustrated, would say, "You know what? Let's just drop it, because this isn't going anywhere." Jiro, looking at the view of the USJ, would say, Guys, I think Aizawa-sensei needs help ASAP." Izuku looks where Jiro was mentioning, only to see Aizawa-sensei being pummeled to the ground by a massive creature. Something in Izuku's mind snapped. His eyes were focused, and they showed how pissed he was, as the destructive energy of his cataclysm was swirling furiously around both of his hands. He rushed towards Aizawa's location, using his cataclysm on the ground in the midst of all the villains. as the USJ crumbled and injuring most of the villains. The wimpy villains were scared off of the Catboy and tried to make a run for it. With Izuku finally reaching Aizawa, he used his cataclysm on the creature that was pummeling Aizawa to the ground, destroying it and catching Shigaraki's attention. Realizing what he did, he was in a mental breakdown, whispering to himself, I didn't mean to, as a mantra. Shigaraki, clapping sarcastically, would say, "Look what the cat dragged in. Another just like me, with the decaying quirk. What are you doing in a hero school?" Izuku didn't answer. Shigaraki would say, "Playing the silent game, are we? Or cat got your tongue? You have a splendid quirk, but sadly, it's not for a hero, so why not join me?" Izuku would say, "Shut up, handyman. How dare you come here and harm my friends?" Shigaraki would say, "Friends? Who would want to be friends with someone that can kill anyone with a single touch? Can't you see? They are using you." Izuku, losing his composure, would say, "Shut up! You know nothing. They're not using me. I'm going to be a hero, and I'm going to be the best there is." Shigaraki, unamused, would say, "Fine. Have it your way. Kirigiri, bring in Plan B." Kirigiri would say, "As you wish, Master Shigaraki." Kirigiri made a portal with the bird-like creature with his brain exposed, exiting from it. The same Nomu from the anime. Shigaraki, speaking to Izuku, would say, "If I can't have you on my team, I guess you have no choice but to perish." And Shigaraki would be looking at the Nomu, saying, "Nomu, skin the cat." Izuku was trying to avoid the Nomu's incoming attacks and throwing some punches and kicks in the meantime, but nothing happened. It was like it could nullify the physical attacks. Izuku had only one option, but he refused to use it. He got distracted multiple times, and every time he did, he was met with a massive punch. After some time, Izuku was at his limit. He couldn't hold on. When everything seemed lost, All Might appeared, but he wasn't smiling. With All Might arriving at the USJ, it mostly aligns with the anime, but the only difference is All Might not having a time limit and Izuku's injured very badly. After All Might defeated the Nomu, Shigaraki was cursing and complaining, and he was about to end things himself, but the others' teachers arrived and Shigaraki and Kirigiri escaped. Izuku fell on the floor, unconscious. Sometime later, Izuku woke up in Recovery Girl's office. He was panicking, but he couldn't move due to his pain. He was tearing up, remembering the events of the USJ as he used his cataclysm on a living being. He placed his hands on his face as he started to cry, breaking down even more. He cried and cried until a hand was patting him on the head. As the individual would say, "Hey kitty, I can tell you aren't yourself. Do you want to talk about it?" And to be continued. Those shitty puns, bro. I despise you to my core, Ed. I really do. What do you have to say for yourself, Ed?
Well, punny.
Well, in any case, like I said, if this gets, again, 500 likes, 3,000 views, and I see that, we get to 4K, yeah, we'll try to upload part 4. In this case, who's gonna be the chef? You already fucking know. If you fucking read between the lines, I'm not gonna make it fucking typical. In any case, yes, and again, Ed's the writer. I swear to God, he would have made more fucking jokes and would have made Izuku, oh, such a sad little character. But I told him no, he must suffer. He must suffer. So
Alex, should we mention the 4K special?
The 4K special. I swear to God, I really despise you, Ed. You had to do this little off project. Okay, the 4K special. I'll try to do the what if Deku had the Archer class card remaster, basically. And in this case, Ed is working on the script. I was working on it until he wanted to do Cataclysm. And in this case, yeah, we'll leave it off to 4K specials. So if you guys want to see that earlier and work on it, let's reach 4,000 subscribers. Let's see. In any case, again, hope you guys liked the video, and I hope you have a good day or good night. Peace.